Hey you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to be doing a closure sewing. I'll be showing you guys all of the different steps that I do and the different technique that I do to get my closure installs. So first things first, what I did so far already was I just put the ball cap on it and I sprayed the Got2b spray, and now I'm just going around and sewing the perimeter of the cap down to where the closure is going to last so that it lasts for a longer time. Now that the cap is sewn down, you can go in and you can customize the front of the ball cap. This is where you are going to cut or, like leave a little extra. Is based on how the client's hairline is and the kind of look that they want. We're doing the basic traditional closure sewing, so it's not going to be like a whole lot of cap left to create the illusion of edges or anything like that. We're doing just a simple middle part closure. So now I'm just going through and just making sure that the cap is laying down extremely flat with the Got2b spray. And now I'm going to go through and add the Got2b gel, and this is what's going to help the closure be very seamless and very flat in the front, and it actually gives like that extra hold. You do not need a lot of this product. You just need like just a thin layer of it, because we will be going through and adding more later on in the video. So in this portion is when I'll go through and I'm going to measure my client's head with the elastic band. The elastic band is what keeps the closure in place. This is perfect if you have a client who has a peak or a lower hairline, something that they may not be comfortable with cutting. And yeah, this just allows you to be able to create that lower, more natural hairline where you may not have a foundation to sew on. So now I'm just going through and I'm just sewing the ends of the elastic band onto the closure. After the band is fully sewn in on both ends of the closure, you see it's super easy to just go ahead and just pull the closure right onto your client's head. You want it to be a little bit more like a tighter fit, so that way it lasts longer and it just allows the closure to lay flatter, and it pulls it from ear to ear just a little bit tighter without being too much tension on your client's head. So you always want to make sure as well that you are asking your client if they are comfortable with how the band feels on the back of their neck, because if they're not, it will create a severe headache later on. It may not be something that they necessarily feel right then and there, but even if it's, just double check with them, make sure it's not pulling or anything like that. So because we're using an older closure that we used from a previous install, I'm just going through and just cutting a little bit of lace that's on the front. And now I'm going to go through and make sure that the part is straight, is exactly where I want it to be on my client's head. Just fixing everything, making sure that everything is up and tight. These are the results that you should be getting as of right now for your crew. Now we're going to go through and we're going to pick out the perfect foundation color for our client's skin, and that will match their scalp. This color will allow the closure and just the full install to look extremely more natural. You have the option of just adding the cap, just adding the closure, or both. I prefer to do both. I feel like it lasts a little bit longer and it actually looks better and more realistic. So as I mentioned before, we're going to go through and add our second layer of the Got2b glue. I actually prefer the yellow one for these form of installs, or if I'm doing like a glueless install. I feel like they just last a little bit better. They look a little bit better and they act as if they are glue. So if you've ever used like Ghost Bond, you'll be a little bit more familiar on how to actually use the Got2b glue in this portion of the install. So now I'm just going through and just reinforcing, just making sure everything is exactly where I would like it to be, pressing everything down and just making sure that everything is correct. After that, I just went through and I sprayed the Got2b spray on there just for more security, and now you can see this is how your closure should look, extremely more natural. So now we're going to go through and I'm going to sew the closure down throughout the perimeter of her head. This is just for more security. This is not a step that you can skip, like the elastic bands. Some prefer to do it, some don't, but this is the step that you must do. This is just to give that closure that extra security and to make sure that it's flat. Now when you're going through and you're sewing the closure down, do not skip sections. If you are If your client braids are more spaced out, or they might have like a thinner texture of hair, you are still going to go through in them spaces that do not necessarily have foundation underneath them. Now when you go through them spaces, you're also going to go through the next braid that is next to it to give it that flatter install. So now I'm just going to go through and just separate the closure from the rest of my foundation so that I'm able to see exactly what's doing. Now I'm just taking the end of my first weft and I'm going to connect it to the end of the closure, and I'm going to start my sewing here. The reason for this is because it creates security and it pulls the closure tighter to where it will not only have it flatter, but it will also create a fuller install. Because I don't know if you guys ever noticed, or like sometimes the install, like if the wind is blowing, you can see underneath where the closure is not at. You don't want to have to deal with that. You want your client to be able to have a seamless install without any problem, and you don't want their install to look thin. So we're just going to go through and we're going to sew the track, our first track, all the way around from each corner of the closure around to the back to meet the next. So now that you have completed your closure sewing in the bag, we're going to go through with the styling portion of the install. So now I'm just going through and I'm just making sure that I detangle every part of the hair so that when it comes to actually styling it, I don't have a problem at all. Whenever I'm doing straight hair, if the texture is coming from curly or wavy, I love to use a serum, some type of serum. You can use BioSilk, anything that's like a silkening oil is something that you would use. So you just go through and you just evenly portion it throughout the hair, and then after we do that, we're going to take the blow dryer and we're going to blow dry each wave, curl, kink, whatever the texture of the hair is out, so that when it comes to straightening it, you don't have a problem with straightening the hair. So I went through and I straightened out the back portion of my client's hair, and now I just wanted to show you guys how I actually style the front of the closure. For this section, I require a hot comb. It's up to you on what you want to use and what products you would like to use, but I feel like a hot comb is a must. So for this part, I just take sections of the hair, parting it in the front part of her hair, and adding maybe like, you can use like a slick stick, because I feel like a lot of closures have like flyaways or like shorter pieces of hair in them as well, and using like a slick stick will allow them pieces of hair to lay down without making them like sticky, but it'll still allow you to have that flatter look, that more seamless look of the hair. So then you just go through and you just press out piece by piece, and this will create a more sleeker look. And then you just go through and you press out each piece of the hair, and the finished product will literally be perfect. So I did the same exact steps that I just taught you guys to the other side of her head, and now I'm just going through and just reinforcing my flat irons and straightening out any pieces of the hair that may have not been as straight as I would have liked it to be, and just fully going through and making sure that everything is correct the way that it's supposed to be. And this is one of my favorite steps is when I go through and I add my bio silk at the end to the top of the closure, and it just creates that sleek and that shiny silk press look that we all love. This, ladies, will be your final look. I'm so proud of the outcome. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and that you were able to learn something new. If you did, please feel free to contact me via Instagram. All of my social media links will be in the description box, and make sure that you subscribe and like this video. Thank you.